Back in Smash 4, I used a secondary Peach. She had a technique called Shad, which just stood for Short Hop Airdodge. Her floatiness gave her enough airtime to barely fit in an air right before landing. Shad could essentially act like a roll, but with more flexibility and an optimal height aerial right at the end. Can you see where I'm going with this? Now obviously air dodges have been massively reworked since Smash 4, but old habits die hard. I never really stopped messing around with Shad, or Fad in this case, and I think it still has a pretty powerful niche for Falcon, mostly as an out-of-shield option. Let's just start with an example. Here's Cloud, set to up B in 3 different ways: drift in, drift out, and follow through. What's our best punish here? Up B covers 2 out of 3, but it won't reach drift out. Rolling backwards hard covers drift in, but the best you're going to do for the other 2 is just a grab. Rolling forwards is less laggy, so you can punish all 3 options with Nair 1. Except the Nair 1 on his follow through is next to frame perfect. You have to account for him pancaking. Now the height is weird, so it's not going to be safe if he does manage to shield. You get the idea. It can work, but it's messy. Now look at Fullhop Airdodge. It just wins. You can cover all 3 mix-ups on reaction. You can buffer the Nair 1 early and keep full control over your drift, just keep the A button pressed down. The Nair 1 comes out at a height that covers pancaking. It's a full hop, not a short hop, so you get even more frame advantage on the Nair 1. Even if you botch the reaction, you're still on track to get that same grab you would have settled for in the first place. This is an optimal punish. Fullhop Airdodge can be a death sentence on these types of up and then down moves. No more settling for a stray up B or a grab past combo percents. Characters like Cloud, Crom, Ike, Pyra, and certain versions of Peter Griffin from Family Guy are great candidates, especially when they really like their up B out of shield. Here are some other notable moves to look out for. There's not much shield stun on the rising hit to help you react, but audio cues process faster than visual cues, so this is still pretty easy. You could parry the falling hit, but why risk it? Nair 1's a better reward anyway. This one is also easy with the audio cue. Just full hop air dodge as soon as you hear him start and you'll avoid both swings and the shockwave. It works whether you shield the first hit or if you're halfway across the stage. I don't know why he would up B from halfway across the stage, but I do know how to make him stop. You don't have to hold a mix-up if you can answer both options the same way. Fullhop Airdodge destroys both of his stall and fall options, plus you can easily chase the drift on his down air. On rare occasion, DDD might overshoot the ledge with his up B. Maybe he's looking for a cheesy shield break or something. I don't pretend to understand what goes on in the mind of a DDD player. Point is, the stars are kind of a pain to roll around, and Fullhop Airdodge solves that. Shield the clown car explosion and then Fullhop Airdodge. He is absolutely screwed. With this timing, he doesn't have any more meaningful mix-ups. You are catching that landing lag for free. This time we'll be using a special and not an aerial. You can Fullhop Airdodge through whatever she buffers next to protect herself after her up B. Then, since you're still in midair, you get to abuse the insane drift on Falcon's up B to punish on reaction if she's anywhere near you. Take your time though and don't buffer it. Start your up B a little closer to the ground. This one is stupid, but I just had to mention it. Fullhop Airdodge through the cannonball, and then buffer side B if K-Rool does his blunderbuss afterwards. You'll hit his win box just right and do a suck-cancelled aerial raptor boost. You can jump away from power dunk, or you can roll away from rising tackle, or you could just Fullhop Airdodge away from both. If he goes for rising tackle, he'll be above you, so use up air instead of Nair 1. And finally, it's very powerful against tether grabs. Tether grab characters usually want to force you to pick between getting anti-aired or getting grabbed from long range, and Fullhop Airdodge has good overlap in both cases. I want to mention a few more miscellaneous uses for Fad before we wrap up. The intangibility will mess up moves with homing elements like when Sonic does spin dash into homing attack. It's decent at scouting out and potentially stealing catchable items. You can dash in to bait the throw and then Fad at any distance, unlike with roll. Fullhop Airdodge lasts a good while, so it can be used to stall out your opponent's respawn invincibility pretty well. I think it's strong in matchups where you're more worried about their corner pressure than their ability to juggle you. And lastly, we can use platforms to do a good old-fashioned shad back down to stage. The ones on Battlefield and Northern Cave are a little too short, but any other platform works just fine. Personally, I've always felt like FAD was a nice thing to already know how to use, but it didn't seem important enough to recommend that people go out of their way to look for it. But Ultimate keeps leaning towards a more and more optimized punish game, and at this point, I don't think there is any reason to leave something as nice as an Air 1 setup on the table. That's all I've got for this video. Thanks for watching, tell the algorithm you thought it was neat, and I'll see you on the next one.